YouTube? How's it going? This is Dave. We are back. You can see the SS in the background. It took a while, unfortunately, to get all the parts that I was looking to get. I've got 3 separate things in here. Haven't had a chance to really unveil them just because it took so long for me to get them. Now this one, you see in here, some of you SS guys may recognize this right off the bat. This is a VCM, and it's an over the radiator intake. It's a really good reason why I ended up pulling the trigger on this fairly early on. You know that when I went back to NA, I put the rotofab on. And one thing I noticed, it was still warm, believe it or not, when I was driving the car around NA. And man, that is not a good intake when it's very warm out. I noticed very, very high, like almost 140 almost. Intake air temperatures on it after some sustained driving. So that was not good, but like I already talked to Derek, and we're gonna put this guy on and retune it, get some nice cold air into this car. But this also plays into the future of what I'm planning on doing with this. And you're gonna think I'm nuts, but just talking about the OTR, I actually got it used, believe it or not. And we got probably the weirdest directions I've ever seen. Looks like a cartoon. Kind of weird, but it was used. This is a used setup, but it's in very, very good shape. The guy, included everything I needed to put this thing back together. I have to figure out what I'm doing with the catch can, but for the most part, I think everything I need is here. It's just a matter of properly rounding it. I just hope there's some rips in here. I got the box over there, so hopefully nothing fell out. If not, I'll figure it out. But it has all the really nice closeout panels that go around the front, and we'll go over to the car to take a look at it. But one of the things that I want to show you guys, and this is something that's going to become important down the road when I show you, is how this top cover is set up. And it's just a few simple tabs that lock and unlock it. And let me bring the camera down so you can see. So you can see the tabs, very, very straightforward. Just 4 tabs that lock in, it kind of seats in there. This was nice because the gentleman who I bought this from took it apart pretty easily. You can see I have a vanity there. I'm actually working on my basement at the same time. You can see all these little tabs that snap in. They're very, very straightforward, slips in just below the radiator, or I think, yeah, just in front of the radiator. But right here is where I care about the most, all right? We're going to be doing something here that I'm going to continue to use this, but I'm going to shift this over. And I'm actually going to remake this top piece for a different reason, which will become apparent later on. So I'll continue to use the VCM, but I'm going to use my ability to, from my work, to actually get away with, and look at all that nice open area on the front of that. That's awesome. Look at all that clear area. And this snaps in. There's a bunch of the other clips I got too, but this came with all the parts that I needed. And you can see, like I mentioned, the clamps and everything, and that'll go on the SS. And I'll open it up and kind of show you. So, what in the world could this possibly be? This is box number 2. I'm going to do this one-handed, so it might be a little shaky, but this is the thing I was waiting for, unfortunately, for almost, actually, about a month. Kind of a bummer. And now, you can kind of see. You can kind of see what this is. Got a little insignia here. What does that say? Pro Charger. Pro Charger. What is this? So, what this actually is the main bracket assembly, not for an SS like this car here, but for a 5th gen Camaro, later 5th gen, like version 2 bracket. So it's a super heavy duty bracket. You're gonna think, wow, you're an idiot. Why are you doing that? They already make a kit. There's a reason for my madness, and I'll show you in a second. I may be totally off, but there's a reason why I'm trying to do this. So I want to get this stuff out of here, and we can take a look at the bracket all kind of naked here. But all the pieces are here, and then I got to kind of fit it all together. But I'm going to get underneath the car, and I'll show you what's in that box in a second. I think you probably have a good idea what that is, but let's get this open. All right, so wide open. You're going to say, Dave, what are you doing? You are an absolute moron. And that may be true. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to take this out. We'll put the over the radiator rotofab on there. And I believe this has to come off, I think. I don't remember exactly. I think it may slide in along here, but I'll figure all that out. I think it's pretty straightforward how the thing goes together. But, you know, I'll figure that out through how the directions tell me to do it. But a couple of things I got to do. So why am I doing my own bracket system? Well, first off, I got to move this. I'll move this over to the side or somewhere along here. I'll come up with a bracket. That's not the end of the world because the other bracket goes here. But there's a method to my madness. The main bracket for the SS puts it pretty far back, puts the Pro Charger very far back, and in some cases hits the fender well. So you actually hit this shock tower, and you can't see it because this is in the way, but I'll get this out of the way eventually for you. And more than likely, we'll be putting these things back together as I do this, but we'll do a test fit first, then we'll drive the car a little bit. It's actually going to be really nice on Sunday, so I'll probably take the car out at that point. But I want to take some of these things apart so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But the main bracket for the Camaro setup brings it forward a little bit, almost, I think, an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So it does bring the Pro Charger forward, but what that's going to let me do is use a much beefier bracket and allow me to bring the air intake over because the outlet of the Pro Charger is down in this case. So I can put a really nice intercooler up front, really nice heat exchanger. I can run the piping up and into the intake, turn it this way and go down. I can't make it fit in this area just because, you know, where the OTR fits is like right here. I can't make the turn there, but if I reposition it off to the side like this, I believe I could come over the top and come right into here as opposed to going down. So I could keep the OTR. That's the plan. Whether or not that works remains to be seen. But for now, I'd like to maybe take this thing for a ride or maybe strip it apart. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. But regardless, let me get to it. All right, let me take it apart. Let me do something, because if I put the OTR on, I can get the tune flash, and at least I have that done, and I can at least enjoy that. So let's do that. Let's get the Rotofab out of the way and at least get started on something so you can see what the hell I'm trying to do. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. This is a little bit chaotic, but there's a method to my madness. All right, guys, stay tuned. Now that I kind of got to get myself acclimated here, what's going on. It's pretty straightforward. Obviously, you know, get this stuff off. I'm just going to disconnect the MAF sensor, and it's simple click here and pull that off. So the MAF, man, all this wire is so cold in here. All the wiring is like super sticky. All right, so I'll take this apart. This is just some number 10 fittings, and I got to get this off of here for the cold air intake tube. There's a couple of small connections. That just comes off the front. I think, did I clip that? I don't even know. So I'll have to pull that off, and then it's just a simple take this piece out, take the other piece out, pull that off. It's very straightforward. And then it looks like they have a bracket that connects here, and then there's a piece that comes in here that has to bolt in kind of underneath, but I won't be able to necessarily see that for the VF. I think it's either on the back of one of these or something that allows it to grab it. So let me get this out of the way first, and then I'll, you know, and then I'll be able to easily kind of show you what's going on. So I need to get my number 8s here to get this tubing out of here and slowly take this stuff apart. I got to be careful because I don't want to wreck anything because of how cold it is. I should probably get a heater going, but for right now, I'm just gonna get this stuff out of the way. So let's rock and roll. All right, so pretty straightforward here. I'm doing things a little bit different for you so you can kind of digest it a little better. I don't have this top piece on because I want to point out a mistake I made. And let me find the hardware. I think I put it back in my pocket like a dope. So let me see if it's in here. Got the small one here, and here's the other small one. Okay, these are the two that I want. Originally, I used some of the top hardware that was screwed on here that screws in through the cover over there. That guy sitting right there. So both of so the hardware that comes from here, from this piece, that's that locks in and supports it here. So it's here and there, and this unit actually has 2 holes in the bottom that I'll show in a picture inset that slip over top of the radiator once it moves forward. So I believe that you need both sets of hardware. You need this piece here, and you need this longer one. All right, the longer one will screw into the bracket here and here, and you can see these guys right here. It sticks in, it slides over one of the gussets here, same thing here, the ribs, rather. But I use the long ones, so what I'm going to do is take this out first, and you can see it move, and then I'm going to have to reposition it. All right, so I'm going to put this guy here for a second, and I'm hoping that this guy is long enough and the right size, and it looks like it might be right. So let's see. Money. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this. Got the longer washer here. Bang. All right, so this guy's nice and tight, and it's where I want it to be. Let's just tighten that up. There you go. I don't want to over tighten it because I don't want to bust it. And now I've got this bolt back for the top, and this is where I screwed up on the other one. So let's go reverse. And this one's the pain in the ass, so you got to be careful on this one. All right, just put this down here for a sec, for just a hot minute, because you don't need as long a bolt as it is. It was so dumb. They don't tell you this in the directions. So you put this guy back on here, all right, and connect forward. Hold on. Other way. We want to go, there we go, on. Bang. On, and on. So now that guy is done, right? I was so stupid. I don't know why I did that the first time. And then, like I said, there's 2 other brackets that you can barely see here, but they're shaped. This one is shaped like this, and then it has a tab this way. And this one is shaped like this and has a tab this way, all right? And it slides over a gusset here, not a gusset, a rib, basically, on both of these, kind of locates it. And then you use this screw that you took out to screw it back into the same spot. So where you take this off is where you screw those brackets into. And you push the whole radiator, lean it forward, and these 2 brackets, this side and this guy, bolt into these empty spaces. You don't see it when you have the cover there. So walking over here, again, pardon my mess. So when this guy is in place here, you know, when it's sitting in place here, you don't see those holes, right? Because it's right, you know, this guy's lined up like right about here. Here's this one. That's the one I mistaken it for. It's actually right behind. So you fill in the empty spot. So let me just put this back over here. Doink. All right. All right, so now you use, so just to recap, this one gets used to hold the bracket in here, and this, you know, to here for both of them. The bottom one, you screw the brackets in. Done. So the 2 brackets are screwed in here. Once you go to place this in, other tech tip, all right? So mass airflow sensor, okay? I had to pull it out of the rotofab, put it in. What I suggest you do, and we'll come around this way so you can see it a little better. What I suggest you do is you take this, before you put this piece on, this bellows, onto this piece, take it off and screw it to this first, then put this on there. And then when you go to put this whole thing in, drop this on first onto here, and it's the bigger section, then smaller section, then it goes like that. So you screw this on here, and this, instead of lining this up with the connector here on the mass airflow sensor, bring it up a few degrees north of that. And what I did, and this, you know, this slides in here, what I had to do is this actually has a snap, a standard GM, oh, that is a socket. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Actually has one of these quick connects on there. But where I hook it up is not the same place that normally gets hooked up to. And I don't know if this is just a different piece on the valve cover or what. But what I ended up doing is the same thing I did for originally when I had the Rotofab. It's enough. You just snip it and you slide it in right here. So if you pull it back, it's this hose right here. It slides on. It does not need any clamp or anything, and it just slides in here. So fits really nice. It's nice, clean install. Doesn't look bad at all. Everything kind of fits where it's supposed to. So now there's 2 more clips, two, not 4, 2 busted up fingers. One of them I unfortunately did not get when I got the kit. He's sending it to me right now. But this bracket here, what you do is you unbolt these 2 bolts right here, slide this under, bolt it right back down. So the way that it's jogged, it's kind of weird. So this is kind of weird. Like, I did this just by accident, and I don't know where I did it. I drew it on something. I think I drew it over here. Okay, yeah, all right. So this is the piece that's the part slides in. So the way that this is oriented this way, so the way you see it here, the way that this is oriented would actually be how it would look if you're looking at the passenger side, and then the mirror of this would be how you would orient it for the driver's side. I still have to get that other one, and it's not here yet, because it just didn't, the guy forgot to put it in the box. Big deal, right? And then what'll happen is you overlap. So when you go to screw this down, you slide this in. So you put the covers over top of it. So in this case, this is this guy over here for this guy, and this one goes over here. Okay. When you go to put this in, you got to get it around your setup here, but you can kind of see. Now, one thing that I want to mention, and I'll point this out a little later. The push pins. These pins are not created equal. There's fat ones and there's thin ones, okay? This one doesn't need a pin. It's got a little clip deal that locks in to it. So that's coming. I don't have to worry about that, but it does clip in over here. So I have to put the bracket in over here, and then this will clip in over here. But I got them. Hold on. I think they're in my pocket still. Yeah, I got them in my pocket. All right. So the big boys, there's 2 big boys, and there's a little guy. You use the fat, stubby one over here on this one, the shorter one that only has to go through one. Use the long ones to go through these guys, okay? And it really locks the thing in, okay? Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but it really locks it in. And that's necessary because otherwise it will not hold it in place and the thing will flop a little. So let me just get these back out of the way for a second. All right. And then the only other thing is the closeout panel. I did not have the original hardware. I had lost this hardware when I took the original Rotofab out. So I had to use what I had from the previous setup. Still works fine. It looks a little out of place with the lighter hardware, but this goes over the stud. What I recommend you doing is either pulling this out or just pull this whole assembly out. I would just pull the ground wire off, okay? It makes it a lot easier. Just pop this ground wire off, allows you to slide it in, slide the whole thing down, and lock it in. Then it has a set of fingers that's kind of offset like that you slide in underneath a seam, like on a seam, body seam there. So, and then you just screw it down and you're good to go, right? So that's it. That's really, that is really it, all right, when you're installing. And I'm missing a clip here, so don't judge me. It broke and it went flying somewhere. Who the hell knows where it went? All right, so now really the only thing left to do on this, and I'll put the panels back in for you guys so you can kind of see how everything fits. But we'll put this guy in, slide that on. That locks in here. You got to orient this. This is a little bit of a pain in the ass just because it doesn't sit exactly perfect. Take this guy, and you got to, when you get the clips here, you got to pop these clips up. There we go. All right. And then the same thing with the small guy here. So, all right. Woo! Almost lost it. That would have sucked. Bang. In. Down, closed. All right. Then the same thing with these. Got the big boys here. Push them down. Lock them in. Now, you see how much better that is? Same thing with this guy. This guy just kind of, it floats for right now because I don't have the piece over there, but eventually I'll get it. I'm not worried about it flying off while the car's driving. This guy, you got to kind of muscle down, muscle in, and in she goes. And that is locked in. So that's locked in and done. Move this out of the way, and then you just grab this and kind of do the reverse of what you did before. Slide this guy in, tip it in, down, on, and then you just screw these guys back in, and it's done. So that's really it, guys. It was pretty straightforward. The directions are absolutely horrendous, though. So hopefully this helped with the install. If you have any questions, obviously reach out to me. But, you know, that's really it, guys. So I'm back to the handheld now, just trying to finish off a couple things. So I think now to try to get the new bracket on, you know, and I didn't really do much on this bracket assembly. I'm gonna have to, I think what I'm gonna end up doing is waiting for another installment here to do this, because I gotta get a feel for, like, this bracket looks big. Clearly, you know, there's a lot in this bag, right? So let me, just gonna put this here for right now and get this out of the way. Nice box. I hate to fudge it, but we'll just put it up there for right now. And this bracket here, we're just gonna put it right here. And then when I think I'm gonna open this up, we're gonna take a look and kind of see what's what in here, because I got to get a feel for what that bracket does on this guy. Because I think at the very least I'm gonna have to move this, and I think what I may do, and it may make me need to take this off here. Like, this isn't really heavy per se, but I think what I might do is underneath this cover there's a mount, a grounding mount. I may use that as a point to mount this off of, and then it would kind of like, it would put everything kind of in this area out of the way, because the blower and everything goes over here. And I think what may happen is I may have to get rid of this close out as well once the blower's on, just because the blower will be kind of in this area. So I may, depending on what I do, I may trim it to fit around the blower. I don't know. Maybe still make it fit. We'll figure that out, right? Because I can still get, these trim pieces are cheap. Then the only other thing I'll have to do is modify this. And I think what I'll do is I can remake it, because this is going to make the turning go this way. So it'll come off and go down. This guy, I think I'm going to feed it. I'm going to make a new lid piece here, and it's going to have a standard, like maybe 3 or 4 inch, 3-inch opening probably. It comes straight into the well, it would go up and over into the blower. So that's, I think, it for today, because I probably put you to sleep with this, and now you get to see my my face with the imprint of the GoPro mount on it. But that's it for today. I think what I'm going to do is take this out tomorrow. There'll be some nicer weather. I'm going to start working on mocking up the blower, and we'll go from there, guys, because I think I'm starting to feel like this might work. So stay tuned. I appreciate you watching. There'll be more content, especially on the truck. We'll be doing some train stuff. So I love vacation. I get some time to recharge the batteries, guys. So take care. I appreciate you sticking with me on this one. This was a long one. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, guys. All right? Take care. And Happy New Year.